Hi, it's Rayleigh here from Sunflower Stitcheries and Quilting. We're going to be talking about chain stitch this video, so how to do it, and yeah, there's a couple of different ways. Probably we'll stick with one method this video. I might make a different one about it, couple of different options a little bit later on. So step one, we need to bring up our thread from the back of our work. I've got a knot in my thread. And we are going to, I'm going to turn my work this way. I find it easier to work away from me. So I'm just going to be careful not to loop my threads onto the spring tension hoop. Now I am right-handed, so I'm holding the thread underneath my thumb. I'm going to insert the needle either in the same hole or just beside where you came up. And then you need to make a decision about how long you want your chain stitch to be, and bring your needle point up to the front of your work. Now you can either physically do this, or just by holding it to the side and creating that loop, you are then pulling that needle through the loop. Now don't over tighten, because it will pucker your work and also it just won't lay nice and flat. Alright, so that is our first chain. Making a choice about how long your stitch is, insert your needle into the top of the loop where you came out previously, and then bring it up how long you want your chain to be. Now you can pull this down here, or you can just get hold of the needle and pull it up. Now you need to pull gently and carefully, not too tight, otherwise your chain will not be nice and rounded. And basically you just keep going. And that creates the chain. So I do find it helpful just to hold it to one side with my thumb, insert the needle, bring it back to the front, and then my fingers are quite slippery, and then carefully make the chain. Now to end the chain, simply insert your needle right at the end to the back, and that secures that end chain. And then you can do your tying off stitch like so, and maybe just thread it underneath there and snip off. And that is how you do a chain stitch. Alright, so in our example, our practice piece, you can see where I've stitched previously, and this, you can see here, this is a reason why we don't leave our embroidery work in a frame, because it can get quite marked over time. Alright, so I'm just creating a knot. Now I'm going to start in at one of these points. Now this one I am going to go into the same hole. So at the back I'm actually just pushing aside my knot so I can get my needle back into that same hole. Now I don't want my stitches to be too long, I want them to be proportional. You can see I'm working in a different direction here, so you can see my action is much the same, so I'm stitching towards my left hand. Sorry, grab hold of the needle and not the thread. And I'm bringing my needle up on that line. Now if you find your thread becomes twisted, it is a good idea to let it untwist so that your stitches lie flat. Okay, so insert the needle into the top of the loop beside or in the same hole. Now when you're going around a curve, don't take too big a stitch, because the stitch can roll a little bit. And we just want just a fraction tighter. So you notice I'm not pulling too tight on my stitches, but I do want them firm enough so that they stay where I want them. Bring it up where I need it. All right, I feel like my thread is a little bit too short to keep going. So but I'm not in a corner and I do need to start another lot of threads. So I am going to secure that thread by taking it to the back and knotting it off. I'm going to get my other threads. So I am going to separate them because I find that they sit better. So by doing that, you're grabbing one, you can see it's gathering up in my hand, but then it will straighten out. And lay the three of them back together. First time that time. Thread my needle. And create my knot. Alright, so flipping back over to the correct side. Quite simply, we're going to just start like we normally would by coming up inside that loop and continuing. Going back inside the loop. Yes, you will need to avoid the little knot and you'll be able to feel if you've stitched into it. And you can see there that you can't tell that I've started a new thread. All right, now into the corner. There we go. And I am going to anchor that chain because I don't want it to become unraveled. Now I'm just going to turn my work here. Alright, for this petal we're changing direction. So I'm actually going to just slide this stitch aside with my thumbnail and bring my needle up. It's not right in the corner, but it's close. So you can just see, come a little bit closer. I've pushed aside the stitches of this chain and my thread has come up, and then I can create another chain. You will find it is easier to pull in the direction that you want your chain to go. Don't pull to the side, but pull in that direction.